Story 1. The Uninvited Guest. When I was about 8 years old, I woke up in the middle of the night to hear my parents speaking in a panic downstairs. Curious, I peered out of my room and asked what was going on. But my mom quickly told me to go back to bed. Listening to their worried voices, I knew something serious was happening. But I did as I was told. Shortly after, I heard the front door slam shut and everything went silent. Assuming my parents had left for an emergency, I tried to go back to sleep. However, not long after, I heard footsteps downstairs. Slow, deliberate movements, the sound of drawers and cabinets opening, and even the fridge door being used. Thinking my older brother had come home late, I dismissed my unease. Then I heard the footsteps coming up the stairs. They reached my door, and I saw a shadow in the doorway. Calling out my brother's name, then my parents, I got no response. The shadow simply stood there before slowly closing the door and retreating downstairs. Confused and slightly unsettled, I stayed in bed. But soon, my parents actually returned home, shocked to see me awake. They explained that my brother had been in an accident and that they had rushed to the hospital. I asked my dad if he had checked on me earlier, and that's when we realized whoever was in the house wasn't any of us. My parents searched the home immediately, and though nothing seemed stolen, the thought of an unknown person lurking in our house that night still gives me chills. Story 2. My brother's imaginary friend. When my family moved into a new house, my younger brother found a small, old photograph of a boy while playing in the backyard. He brought it inside, claiming that the boy in the picture was his new friend, Buddy. We assumed it was just a case of an overactive imagination, until strange things began happening. At night, my brother would wake up talking to someone, though his room was empty. He often insisted that Buddy wanted to play. His favorite toy, a Batman car, would randomly turn on by itself, even when no one was near it. My parents dismissed it as a malfunction, but it kept happening. One night, my sister and I were in my room when we saw the toy roll across the hallway on its own. We screamed and ran to our parents, who assumed my brother was playing a prank. But what he said next made our skin crawl. It wasn't me, but he wanted to play. We got rid of the toy, thinking that would put an end to things. But a few days later, something even stranger happened. My mom was cooking in the kitchen when a kitchen appliance suddenly crashed to the floor, as if it had been pushed. After that, the eerie event stopped, and a year later, we moved. To this day, we still wonder, was Buddy ever imagined? Story 3. The Obsessive Neighbor. When I was 10, my family moved to a new neighborhood. Making friends was tough, but I met a boy named Alex who lived down the street. At first, he seemed normal, and we played video games together. But soon, I started feeling uncomfortable around him. He would come to my house daily, and when I tried to avoid him, he would show up unannounced, always asking to hang out. One day, I told my mom to say I wasn't home when he rang the doorbell. That night, I woke up to my bedroom window open. A cold breeze drifted in, and I felt something poke my foot. In the dim light, I saw Alex standing at the foot of my bed. He whispered, "It's just me." In shock, I demanded he leave. He told me his parents were arguing, and he just wanted to sleep in my room. I refused, and he eventually climbed back out through the window. Horrified, I told my parents, who confronted his family. They dismissed the situation, laughing it off. Days later, I woke up to knocking at my window. I ignored it But then I heard the handle jiggle as if someone was trying to get in. My parents reassured me it was just a phase, but I stayed alert. Then one night, I woke up to the sound of glass shattering. My window had been broken, and I saw Alex trying to climb inside. I screamed, waking my parents. My dad chased him home, and after an argument with his parents, they agreed to pay for the damages. Thankfully, after that incident, Alex stopped coming around, and his family moved a couple of years later. But to this day, I still wonder what he was planning to do that night.